where does this movement go from here? Because you had to talk on Sunday, and now you guys are kind of putting this together annually. Is there anything extra that's going to happen, besides just the talks?
Well, the talks is a beginning part as far as being here in North Carolina. But where our strategy is, and I use this as in a slogan form or just like a catchy phrase, but basically it's just a common ground. Uh, we're here to not be a spotlight or the spotlight, but to move the light, to light more to stay lit. In basic simple terms, we're here to bring North Carolinians to that fortified moment or potential, especially of ADOS um, uh, common ground, as far as to start to take notice to what is owed to them and what is already theirs, and to start
Lafeare,
claiming.
Lafeare, let me ask you to include something. How does that correlate to the moving parts and the non-moving parts of HR 40 going forward?
Well, with the HR 40 has a number of flaws that needs to be either worked on or to be just basically excluded to have a totally new bill, because it has some things that need to take place where it can explain in detail more better for the specificity of who ADOS is, and it doesn't really do that. So that's why with the specificity as far as dealing with the timeline of when the slavery took place under the government that was established in 1776.
The
These things need.
corporations,
Say it again.
tie in those corporations and insurance companies and
Yeah, there's a bundle of corporations, insurance companies that actually were started because it was started based off of the bodies of the slaves that were here, and well, those that were became enslaved by force that were here, that became the currency for this nation that started out. So we were basically like um, the wealth premier for what this country was going to be based on. It was based off of us, and it kind of like brings you back to uh, we as being human resources for not to look at it as being a greater good to make it seem like everybody's getting some good out of it, but it was more so for the colonizers that were here to enforce a dehumanizing, inhumane practice that has still been is still flourishing right now in our lives, and it's based off of just racism, white supremacy. I don't know if that answers your question. I can break that down some more. Or
Tiffany, did you want to close on kind of like what females mean to the movement as far as we want to try to get another female perspective as far as
mm-hmm.
what that role would be versus how the feminist role kind of interrupted the civil rights movement and how it needs to turn? Or do you want to add something on that part? Or
Okay, yeah, well, I have a 2-year-old Junior, and she's watching Bubble Guppy, so you have to excuse the background. But I'm not a feminist. I don't even believe in feminism. But
why not? Why not?
it's just it's just the idea, for white women, really more specifically, so that they can get equal with their men, because their men really do have the power to hold them back, whereas a black man can't really hold me back from doing anything. I mean, you know, you just can't. You don't have the power, and you're just as much in bondage and oppressed as I am. And so, to me, it's important to have women be involved in the movement, because just like with every other movement, we are the water of every movement. We help to make, we are the movers and shakers of the movement. I mean, look at Yvette. She is a woman she is a lesbian woman, but she is a woman still. And so, and she's supposedly the leader of ADOS. You can't progress an entire group of people with and think that you're going to be able to exclude one sect due to racism. Now, under the system of racism, white supremacy, you have all of these other isms. And we constantly get into this conversation within our group, and sometimes I do have to remind people that we can't just take the bits and pieces of the system of racism, white supremacy that work for us. So sexism is something that works for men, period. And black men, that's like your only thing that you have going for you, right? Is to be sexist towards a black woman because you don't have a leg up with white men. They are constantly putting you all in your place. So with us, we reject all of it. And so because the system of racism, white supremacy is like embedded in our minds, it's very hard for people to remember that. And then with us being tied to religious ideals, that kind of keeps the sexism going and flourishing in our community. So it's important for women like myself who don't necessarily believe in feminism, but do believe in reparations and the fact that my blackness, my ADOSness comes before gender because I'm not being held down because I'm a woman. I have more currency with white men because I am a woman. I get more things done than you. I'm more educated than you are. So, in that regard, white supremacy will use me against you. I choose not to be used, and so do other women. Did that answer your question?